Wow, happy Thursday. It's a glorious day here in the state of Texas, in Austin, Texas. I want to say it was 56 degrees according to my car thermometer outside. It's a little chilly, just a little chilly. But we're gonna be talking about something a little bit spicy, maybe. I think the Ukrainians are losing this war. I do think so. It's not that they're going to be losing. I mean, I think they're currently losing. Doesn't mean that they can't win at the end of the war, because doesn't matter what the status is right now, because war is very fluid. This week Russians may win, and then next week Ukrainians may win, and then it's a back and forth, and it's really all about numbers and logistics at the end of the day. Which two wars have proven that? There's the Napoleon War that had logistics issue when they attacked Russia. And of course, you have Germany that had logistic issue when they attacked Russia. The logistics do play in a big part of it. But I'm not going to read this whole story, but more than 12,000 men have tried to leave Ukraine illegally since martial law. Since Ukraine's declared martial law implementing general mobilization in response to the Russian invasion, more than 12,000 men have tried to leave the Ukraine illegally, and 15 of them have died. The State Border Service reported December 30th. I mean, that was like just last month. More than 2,100 criminals proceedings have been initiated for falsification of documents, illegal transports of a person, and draft evasion. Charges result against 950 people, and more than 350 of them have been held criminally liable. The service said that the bodies of 12 people who drowned have been found along the river sections of Ukraine-Romanian border. 3 other bodies were found in the mountains. Read the original story here. No, I don't want to read the original story. I guess I did read the whole story, but don't really care. Seems like Zelensky doesn't want to speak to Russia unless they give up all the land that they took. I mean, that's his prerogative, but I think our prerogative should be, if you don't talk to him, we're not going to give you your tanks, your F-16s, or anything else you ask for until you talk to him. But the West doesn't want that. The West wants to destroy Russia. This is a proxy war. Unfortunately, the people of Ukraine and the Russian military has to suffer because of that. Because we want World War III for some sick, sadistic reasons. U.S. to send Ukraine more advanced armor tanks, but there's no secret armor. The M1A2 version of the Abrams includes sophisticated optics and controls that help commanders rapidly track friendly vehicles, identify enemy positions, and process artillery requests. I mean, kind of sounds like a scout, but they're going to use artillery. The U.S. is planning to send Kyiv the Abrams main battle tank in its more advanced M1A2 configuration rather than the old A1 version that the military has in storage. According to 3 people with knowledge with the deliberations, but the 31 tanks slated for Ukraine will not include secret armor mix that makes the Army newest version so lethal, said the people who spoke on the condition of nominality to discuss sensitive conversation. The A2 version is more sophisticated optics and control than the older A1 version, which the Army intends to retire in the next few years. Outwardly similar to the A1, the A2 has redesigned commander weapon stations with improved optics for targeting an independent thermal viewer that allows commander to independently scan for targets in all weather and battlefield conditions. Russia's already saying this is a declaration of war. I don't know if he's rattle sabling or what, but I don't know. This one's a tough decision because you don't really want to piss off someone with the nukes, but you also don't want someone with the nukes to be able to get away with being a bully. I don't know. It's a really tough decision, and I don't know what's going to result of this. Most radical changes are on the inside, in which have been redesigned to take advantage of the new technology. Control mechanisms are digitalized, and most notably, the new inner vehicle information system allows the vehicle to exchange information continuously and automatically. Using the new technology, the commander can rapidly track the location of friendly vehicles, identify enemy positions, and process artillery requests. But federal policy forbids the export of Abrams with classified armor packages used by the U.S. military, which includes depleted uranium. According to a fourth person with the knowledge of the policy, the U.S. strips the vehicle of its secret recipe before selling them to other countries. There are other armor packages in the U.S. can provide to foreign military sales customers. I mean, that's good. I mean, it's not going to be like when we go into Russia with our M1A3s, I guess, or A2s. The question remains over the timeline when the Abrams tanks can be delivered to Ukraine. The tanks are assembled in one place only, the government-owned General Dynamics operated plant in Lima, Ohio. The facility can produce 12 tanks per month, but the line is now full of new tank orders for Taiwan and Poland. Orders will be difficult and likely controversial to put on the back burner. I guess you don't want to don't want to hold up Taiwan in case China. You don't want to hold up Poland in case Russia decides to take on the Polish again. The Army is providing multiple options to senior leaders to determine the way ahead, the Service Acquisition Chief Doug Bush told reporters Wednesday. So there really are assembled in one place. That is retarded. Why is the government retarded? I mean, I get one place means you control security. And when you try to spread the load out, security requirements become more strict, more of a challenge. But this is your number one tank. This is your ace. You would think that you would want at least 2 or 3 areas with the same type of security requirements as this one building. No one says that the government was intelligent. Anyways, Poland has ordered 250 A2 tanks that will be delivered starting in 2025, but the meantime is receiving emergency infusion of 116 M1A1 tanks recently retired by the Marine Corps. Warsaw asked that the tanks be quickly replaced. The 250 Soviet-era T-72 tanks gave Ukraine last year and shuttered the Marine Corps tank units, made hundreds of well-maintained tanks available immediately. Marine Corps tank units shuttering? You're shuttering the Marine Corps? That doesn't sound too great. Taiwan ordered 180 M1A2 tanks in 2019, and the first are expected to be delivered in 2024. So in about a year or so, or 2 years maybe. General Dynamics no longer builds the M1 from scratch, but has a number of M1 seed vehicles that are bare-bone tanks. When new orders come in, General Dynamics modifies these seed vehicles with new technology depending on which variant is selected. But those upgrades are not easy or fast, Bush says. More reasons to have more than one plant, in my opinion. Rather sending Ukraine tanks from its own stocks, as it's done with previous weapons, U.S. has said it's buying the Abrams from the industry, meaning that they won't arrive on the battlefield for many months or potentially years. Given the industry constraints of upgrading them, in the meantime, the U.S. will train the Ukrainian forces on how to maintain and operate the tanks, as well as combine armed maneuvers, tactics to help them integrate the weapons into their overall operations. Hopefully this doesn't turn back on us, because you're pretty much teaching these people our sauce, our secret sauce, when we do these maneuvers, unless we know how to counter them and we're only teaching them a little bit. But at the same time, this could be an insight into how we think. I don't know. It's just a thought, food for thought. Either Abrams' version will be a significant upgrade from the Soviet area tanks Ukraine now operates in firepower, accuracy, and armor. But once they arrive, Ukrainian forces will be challenged to keep them in operation, experts say. Yeah, it's pretty hard to keep a tracked vehicle in operation. I think I drove a A1 or M1 or M2 tank, one of the old school tanks that has a bridge on top. I mean, it's fun to drive, don't get me wrong, but you have to hit the tracks every so often, make sure they don't come apart, do all your points of safety. Let's see here. Those challenges are why Biden administrator pushed for the delivery of the German-made Leopard tanks, which are easier to maintain and train on. The first Leopards from Germany and other European countries will likely to start arriving in Ukraine this spring, so probably about a month or two. Unlike the other tanks that use diesel, Abrams are a jet turbine engine that guzzle GP8 jet fuel, which is more expensive and harder to maintain. They're also tricky to maintain, and any crew error could trigger an engine blow. Not too good. I mean, just because they're a jet turbine engine, they still operate like a regular tank, but not the same. I mean, there's some similarities there, but you also can't take a airplane engineer and be able to work on this. They're completely designed differently. Oh, and they you could probably cook a hot dog with them. Wouldn't recommend eating a said hot dog, but you can take the hot dog about 1 inch or 2 inches from the grill, from the exhaust. You might be able to cook it. Feels really nice in the winter. I'm just saying. Um, Meanwhile, the required massive infrastructure, including the M88 recovery vehicles to repair broken parts on the battlefield to operate. The M1 is a complex weapon system that is challenging to maintain. As we talk about, the Pentagon spokesperson Brigadier General Pat Ryder said on Thursday, that was true yesterday and it's true today and it'll be true in the future. So we're sending Abrams. That's great. I don't know how this is not perceived as a declaration of war because we're sending their military equipment. I mean, it's really no different from all of our proxy wars, except this time Russia is fighting the war and we're using Ukraine as a proxy. But I did see this picture on Twitter about the 31 tanks that we're giving them. Here you go. Here's the 31 Abram tanks that we're sending Ukraine. So they better watch out. Russia better watch out. The Abrams don't mess around. Okay, all kidding aside, that is my video for today. Please leave a comment down below. Do you think this will escalate into a much broader war like World War III? Or is Russia trying to bully his way into preventing us from giving them these tanks? Let me know down in the comments below. And most importantly, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.